Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from our channel Immortal News. Today we invite you to join us for a gentle and heartfelt remembrance. We'll be honoring the American stars we've recently lost, as well as beloved figures from around the world whose lives touched us in ways we may not even realize until they're gone. These are the stories of people who made us smile, inspired us, and left behind memories that continue to echo in our hearts. Before we begin, if you could take a moment to give this video a like, it would truly mean a lot. Your support helps us continue sharing these meaningful tributes and keeping their legacies alive. Thank you for being here with us. Now, let's begin. Number 8. Rest in peace. You'll never be forgotten. Those were the words Travis Barker shared, alongside a video of him and Poorstacy performing together. A simple but powerful tribute to a young artist who changed everything in just a few short years. Poorstacy, born Carlito Milfort, passed away at the age of 26. His death followed a medical emergency during a stay in Boca Raton. The cause of death has not been publicly released, but the weight of his loss is deeply felt. Blending punk spirit, emo vulnerability, hip-hop rhythms and metal energy, Poorstacy created a sound all his own. He didn't follow trends, he bent them, reshaped them, and made something real. His music didn't just speak to listeners, it connected with them, honestly and unapologetically. He got his first guitar from his father as a boy. By 12, he was writing his own songs. Years later, his breakout track Makeup exploded on SoundCloud, racking up thousands of plays overnight. It was the start of something special. Raw, emotional storytelling with volume turned all the way up. From his first EP, I Don't Care, to his genre-breaking album Party at the Cemetery, Poorstacy refused to be boxed in. His collaborations with Nick Mira and Travis Barker showed his fearless range, moving from catchy hooks to explosive riffs. His track Don't Look at Me reached millions on Spotify, while his appearance on the Bill and Ted Face, the music soundtrack, landed his sound on a Grammy-nominated project. But what fans loved most wasn't just the music, it was the truth in it. He sang about anxiety, emotional struggle, and finding peace in chaos. His voice told listeners, "You're not alone." Through lyrics, he offered comfort and freedom to anyone who felt misunderstood. Even in his final release, Nothing Belongs to You, Poorstacy stayed true to what he stood for: vulnerability, honesty, and evolution. As the world remembers this genre-defying artist, his music lives on in every headphone, every shared playlist, and every heart he touched. Tributes to Poorstacy. Number 7. History is written by the survivors. Eugene Hasenfus once reflected in a rare interview, and survive he did, in a way few ever could. Eugene Hasenfus, who became an unexpected central figure in the Iran-Contra Affair during the height of the Cold War, has passed away at 84. He died peacefully after a fight with cancer, surrounded by family. A former Marine and later a civilian airman, Hasenfus lived a life that took sudden, dramatic turns. His most defining moment came in 1986, when the cargo plane he was aboard was shot down over Nicaragua. While his 3 crewmates were killed, Hasenfus jumped from the burning aircraft, parachuting into history. His survival, capture, and statements became the turning point that forced the United States to reckon with covert operations that had long been denied. What set Eugene apart wasn't only what happened in the sky over Nicaragua, but how he carried the weight of it afterward. He became a reluctant symbol of deeper truths about power, secrecy, and sacrifice. Though initially vilified by some, his honesty cracked open doors that had long been shut. You don't expect to become history. he once said. But if you do, hope someone learns from it. After his release from a Nicaraguan prison, just a month after his conviction, he returned to quieter years. Life was not always easy, but he never tried to rewrite his role. He stuck to the facts, even when they were uncomfortable. That integrity, however complicated, helped others piece together a fuller picture of that era. Hasenfus is remembered by those closest to him as private, spirited, and unshakably brave, a brother, a husband, and for a brief time a man who inadvertently held the keys to a Cold War mystery. He didn't choose the spotlight, said a friend, but when it found him, he told the truth. He is survived by his wife, Sally, and his brother, William. Though the controversy may outlive him, those who knew Gene remember the quieter man behind the headlines. Humble, resilient, and surprisingly hopeful. Tributes to Eugene Hasenfus. Number 6. Ann believed in the power of education to change lives, and she proved it every day. Those words, recently shared by a former colleague, capture the heart of Ann Bedsole's legacy. Ann Bedsole, a fierce advocate for education and compassionate community builder, passed away peacefully at the age of 95. Her family shared that she died of natural causes, surrounded by loved ones. Raised in Selma, Alabama, Ann carried her Southern roots into every endeavor, with strength, sincerity, and purpose. She shattered glass ceilings as the first Republican woman elected to the Alabama House of Representatives, and later, as the first woman ever elected to the Alabama State Senate. But Ann didn't stop at breaking barriers. She built bridges that others could walk across. One of her proudest accomplishments was co-founding the Alabama School of Mathematics and Science. She believed bright students, no matter their background, deserved access to high-level education. Today, that school stands as a living legacy, empowering generations of leaders and innovators. During her years in office, Ann championed causes that touched everyday families: public kindergarten, protections for widows, and better access to healthcare and housing. Her voice was calm yet persuasive, driven not by politics, but by people. Even after she left the Senate, Ann remained deeply involved in public life. From historic preservation to women's transitional housing, her philanthropic work uplifted thousands across Alabama. She served on college boards, organized cultural events, and continued to give her time generously well into her later years. In a tribute, one local official remarked, "Ann didn't walk into rooms to make noise, she walked in to make change." She is survived by her 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and a grateful state that felt the impact of her vision. Her warmth touched many, and her courage inspired more. As Alabama remembers a true pioneer in service, education, and philanthropy, her legacy will live on through every student she empowered, every law she helped shape, and every family she fought for. Tributes to Ann Bedsole. Number 5. He never asked for credit. He asked what needed to be done. That's how one longtime colleague described Bob Foster, a man who led by example in both the public and energy sectors, quietly shaping a better future for the people of Long Beach and beyond. Bob passed away peacefully at 78, surrounded by loved ones, after a sudden health complication. His loss is deeply felt, but his influence will continue to guide the city he cared for so deeply. Over decades of remarkable service, Bob made a habit of stepping into challenges and transforming them. From crisis to recovery, he was at the helm when Long Beach needed steady hands and sharp vision. During some of the city's toughest years, he charted a path forward with discipline, honesty, and compassion. Before public office, Bob led Southern California Edison through the turmoil of the energy crisis. Under his leadership, California saw the growth of some of the nation's largest renewable energy programs. He didn't just manage a utility, he helped redefine clean energy for the state. Later, as mayor of Long Beach, Bob brought that same clarity and focus to City Hall. He took on budget deficits with resolve. He rebuilt trust, advanced environmental reforms at the port, and stood firmly for public safety. By the end of his second term, Long Beach saw a rare budget surplus and its lowest violent crime rates in decades. Behind closed doors, Bob never sought attention. He worked long hours, mentored with purpose, and advocated tirelessly for sustainable progress. Long Beach Mayor Rex Richardson said it best. He guided our city through challenging times with honesty, courage, and a clear sense of responsibility. Those who knew him will remember not only the bold leadership, but the humor, humility, and kindness he brought to every room. Whether discussing policy or chatting with neighbors, he was always grounded, always present. He is survived by his wife, 2 sons, and 3 grandchildren. Family he cherished and prioritized even at the height of his busiest days. His life was one of unwavering service, quiet courage, and deep-rooted love for community. Tributes to Bob Foster. Number 4. Faith without works is dead. These powerful words guided Reginald T. Jackson throughout his life. They were more than scripture to him. They were his personal mission. Bishop Reginald T. Jackson, a beacon of justice and servant leadership, passed away peacefully at 71 after a brief illness. In every moment, he stayed true to his calling, to lift others with grace, wisdom, and relentless advocacy. He was a spiritual leader who didn't just pray for change, he fought for it. As the 132nd bishop elected in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, he led with heart and clarity, championing the poor, the unheard, and the underserved. Under his decades-long leadership in New Jersey, he helped grow ministries that fed families, educated youth, and ignited hope in struggling communities. At St. Matthew AME Church in Orange, his ministry brought thousands closer to faith and to one another. But his legacy reaches far beyond the pulpit. As executive director of the Black Ministers Council of New Jersey, he took on policies and institutions with quiet force. Bishop Jackson spoke out against racial profiling, demanded equitable school funding, and pushed healthcare access for the uninsured. Because of his leadership, New Jersey passed laws making racial profiling a crime and invested billions into public schools, changing lives for generations to come. He didn't seek headlines. He sought solutions. His calm strength gave voice to truth. Bishop Jackson served on college boards, health councils, and civil rights panels. He was a holder of countless awards, but what mattered most to him was service. Every accolade, every honor, pointed back to lifting others higher. New Jersey Governor Philip Murphy once said, "When Bishop Jackson spoke, people listened, not out of fear, but out of respect. He stood tall not just as a leader, but as a moral compass." He is survived by his beloved wife, Christy Davis Jackson, their children Regina and Seth, and a grieving but grateful church family. The loss runs deep, but so does the legacy of justice and faith he leaves behind. Tributes to Reginald T. Jackson. Number 3. He made the game look easy, even on days it wasn't. Those who played alongside Dennis Durnian know this line best describes the man who brought both flair and fierce skill to the world of golf. Dennis has passed away at the age of 75 after a short illness, leaving behind a legacy that shaped generations of players and fans. Known for his spirited presence on and off the golf course, Dennis left a mark not only through his performances but also through the warmth and mentorship he offered to so many. Across 2 decades on the European Tour, Dennis didn't just compete, he contended. He finished runner-up 4 times and earned multiple top 10 finishes, consistently challenging some of the biggest names in golf. But perhaps his most unforgettable moment came at Royal Birkdale. During the 1983 Open Championship, Dennis shot a jaw-dropping 28 on the opening 9 holes, still the lowest ever 9-hole score in Open history. That magic run remains etched in golfing lore. Off the major stages, he proudly represented England and Great Britain in events like the Dunhill Cup, the World Cup, and the PGA Cup. Later, on the Seniors Tour, Dennis claimed titles at the Welsh and Scottish Seniors Opens. Showing age never dimmed his fire for the game. He was also a club professional, teacher, and inventor. When his swing faltered, he took matters into his own hands, building a steel device called the swing frame to help himself and others rediscover their rhythm. It became one of his many contributions to shaping better golfers worldwide. More than the scorecards, Dennis is remembered for his humor, honesty, and heart. With a competitive spirit that never sleepwalked through a single round, he made lifelong friends and lasting memories everywhere he played. Fellow golfer and longtime friend Peter Baker shared, "Dennis had time for everyone. On the course he gave everything. Off it, he gave even more." Though Dennis Durnian is no longer with us, his passion for the game will continue through every player he inspired and every swing he helped perfect. Tributes to Dennis Durnian. Number 2. There was never a bowler too quick for Robin Smith. He stood at the crease like a warrior, unfazed, fearless, and smiling. That simple tribute, shared by a former teammate, captures the heart of a man whose career was built on bravery and brilliance. Robin Smith, the legendary England batsman known for his thunderous square cuts and his courage against the fastest bowlers of his time, has passed away at the age of 62 at his home in South Perth. His death was sudden, and though the cause remains unknown, his legacy echoes loudly across the world of cricket. Born in Durban and raised on the hard pitches of South Africa, Robin's journey led him to Hampshire and eventually to the top of England's batting order in the late 80s and 90s. His ability to counter-express pace with skill and steel set him apart. In 62 Test matches, he piled up over 4,200 runs, including 9 centuries. Against the ferocious attack of the West Indies, he averaged over 80 at his peak. Few did it better. One-day cricket saw his most dazzling innings. His unbeaten 167 against Australia in Birmingham stood as England's highest ODI score for over 2 decades. It was pure Robin, uncompromising, graceful, electric. But Robin's story wasn't just about the runs or the records. It was also about battles fought off the field. He spoke openly in later years about struggles with mental health and addiction, confronting these challenges with the same honesty and grit that made him a fan favorite. His 2019 autobiography, The Judge, revealed a vulnerable yet inspiring man many came to admire even more off the field. Teammates remember his kindness and integrity. Shane Warne once called him the nicest bloke you could ever meet. Robin turned friendships into lifelong bonds and locker rooms into second homes. In recent weeks, he had reconnected with the cricket world, offering insights to young players and attending matches with his trademark smile. His sudden departure leaves a quiet space in a sport he once lit up. Robin Smith's career was defined by bold shots and braver stands. He was a player who met thunder with joy, and the world is better for it. Tributes to Robin Smith. What's trending on the internet? News 1. You know a show has become part of the family when you can still quote the jokes decades later. And for so many people, that's what Full House is all about. Today we're talking about one of its most beloved stars, comedian and actor Dave Coulier, now 66 years old, who has shared some very personal health news. Dave, who played the goofy and big-hearted Uncle Joey, has revealed that he's been diagnosed with tongue cancer after previously battling and beating lymphoma. Dave explained that doctors found a spot on his tongue that turned out to be cancerous, and he's now facing this new challenge with the same quiet strength and humor that fans have loved for years. He's already been through the fight with lymphoma, and he came out on the other side of that with gratitude, faith, and a real appreciation for each day. Through it all, Dave is encouraging people, especially older adults, to listen to their bodies, keep up with regular checkups, and not ignore small changes. His story is a reminder that early detection really can make a difference, and that it's never too late to take your health seriously. Fans online have been flooding social media with memories of Uncle Joey's catchphrases, his cartoon voices, and the warm, fatherly energy he brought into living rooms across America. Many people have shared how they grew up watching him, then watched the reboot Fuller House with their own kids, creating a whole new generation of viewers who feel like they know him personally. Dave's journey is not just about illness, it's about resilience, family, and the power of making people laugh even in hard times. His long career in comedy, voice acting, and television has brought comfort and joy to millions. And now those same people are sending that comfort right back to him in the form of prayers, kind messages, and heartfelt memories. As Dave continues treatment, he's being lifted up by a community that spans decades, from those who remember watching Full House in prime time to those discovering it on streaming today. However this chapter unfolds, he'll be remembered and honored for the laughter he shared, the kindness he's known for behind the scenes, and the way his work helped families feel just a little closer together. News 2. You may have seen comedian Amy Schumer trending online lately and wondered what was really going on. Well, Amy, who is 43 years old, has now shared the full story herself, and it's a powerful reminder to listen to our bodies and be kind to one another. Recently, people on social media started commenting on Amy's appearance, especially her face as she promoted the second season of her show, Life and Beth. Instead of hiding, she chose to be completely open. Amy revealed that she had been facing serious health issues and was eventually diagnosed with Cushing syndrome, a condition that can cause weight gain, swelling, and changes in appearance because of high cortisol levels in the body. For Amy, it started with painful, very heavy periods and ongoing health concerns that just didn't feel right. She went through a long stretch of tests, blood work, and scans before doctors finally discovered that a steroid she was taking had triggered this form of Cushing. The good news is that her doctors expect it to resolve over time, and she's now on the mend. Amy has talked about how frightening it was waiting for answers, wondering if it might be something life-threatening. At the same time, she kept working, kept sharing her life, and kept showing up for her family, including her young son, Gene. She said that this experience made her even more grateful for her health and more aware of how precious everyday moments really are. What stands out is how Amy used this deeply personal journey to send a bigger message. She reminded fans that many people, especially women, are living with health issues that aren't always visible. She encouraged others to get checked if something feels off, and to push for answers, just like she did. And she spoke honestly about how comments on someone's looks can sting, especially when that person is quietly fighting a medical battle. Now that she's feeling better and her Cushing syndrome is improving, Amy is focusing on enjoying her life, celebrating her body for carrying her through a hard season, and speaking with her usual mix of honesty and humor. Her openness has already helped raise awareness about a condition many had never heard of, and has made a lot of people feel less alone in their own health struggles. As Amy Schumer moves forward, she'll be remembered in this moment not just for her jokes, but for her courage, her vulnerability, and her reminder that a little compassion can go a very long way. News 3. Sometimes the most powerful stories online aren't about glamour or perfection, but about honesty and healing. Cindy Crawford's son, Presley Gerber, who is 25 years old, is opening up in a very real way about his journey with mental health and medication. Presley, whose parents are supermodel Cindy Crawford and businessman Randy Gerber, has grown up in the spotlight. But recently, he's been using that attention to talk about something many people quietly face every day. In a new conversation shared with fans, Presley explained that he had been on several different medications for mental health over the years. He described how, at one point, he felt like he was being over-medicated, and that it left him feeling unlike himself. After working closely with doctors, he began to slowly step back from certain medications, always under professional supervision, and noticed that he started to feel clearer and more present. Presley spoke very respectfully about therapy and proper medical care, and he encouraged people not to be afraid of asking for help. He emphasized that what worked for him may not be right for everyone, and that the most important thing is to talk openly with trusted professionals, family, and friends. He also shared that leaning on his support system, including his close-knit family, has been a huge part of feeling healthier and more grounded. What stands out in Presley's story is his courage to speak out at an age when many people are still trying to figure out who they are. Instead of pretending everything is perfect, he chose to be honest about feeling lost, about trial and error with medications, and about learning to listen to his own mind and body in partnership with his doctors. For many older adults watching, this might remind you of younger relatives, or even your own experiences supporting children and grandchildren through challenging times. Presley's openness is a gentle reminder that today's younger generation is working hard to break the stigma around mental health, creating space for kinder, more understanding conversations in families and communities. In the end, Presley Gerber's story is not about struggle alone, but about growth, communication, and hope. His willingness to share his journey encourages others to seek help when they need it, and to know they are not alone. And that may be how he is best remembered in this moment online, as a young man using his family name and his platform to shine a light on healing, honesty, and the strength it takes to ask for support. News 4. If you grew up with rock radio in the late 90s and early 2000s, this story is going to hit close to home, but in a really touching way. Limp Bizkit have returned to the stage for the first time since the passing of their longtime bassist Sam Rivers, who died in November at the age of 47. At a recent show in Tampa, Florida, frontman Fred Durst and the band turned what could have been a sad night into a warm, emotional tribute to their friend, their bandmate, and a key part of their sound. Before the band launched into their set, Fred Durst took a quiet moment to speak directly to the crowd. He shared how much Sam meant to the group, calling him family, and thanking fans for the outpouring of love and support. You could feel that this was more than just another gig. It was a celebration of a life and a legacy that helped define a generation of heavy music. In a touching gesture, the band dedicated songs to Sam and invited the audience to sing along louder than ever. Fans held up their phones, lit the arena, and turned the show into a kind of musical candlelight vigil. Instead of dwelling on loss, the mood focused on gratitude for the years of music they all shared together. Sam Rivers was known not only for his heavy bass lines, but for his calm presence and deep musicality. His work helped shape hits that so many people remember from high school, college, and long drives with the radio turned up. For older listeners, those songs are woven into memories of friends, road trips, and simpler times. Seeing the band back on stage, carrying on with such care and respect, is a reminder of how music helps us process grief and keep people close to our hearts. Fans around the world have been sharing their own stories online, posting old concert tickets, photos, and favorite tracks as a way of saying thank you to Sam for the soundtrack he helped create. In the end, Limp Bizkit's first show back was not about saying goodbye. It was about saying, "We remember, we're grateful, and we're still here playing these songs together." Sam Rivers' bass lines will keep rumbling through speakers for years to come, and every time those familiar notes kick in, he'll be honored all over again by the people who grew up with his music and the new listeners just discovering it today. Number 1. Her smile was the kind that could brighten any studio, any moment, any heart, a longtime colleague once said of Raquel Escalante. And that light she carried never dimmed, not even in her most difficult days. Raquel Escalante passed away at the age of 28 after bravely facing a long and challenging battle with cervical cancer. Known and loved as a television host, actress, model, and celebrated beauty queen, she left behind a legacy defined not just by her titles, but by her strength, kindness, and authenticity. A proud daughter of Santa Rosa, Guatemala, Raquel's grace first caught public attention in international pageants, placing as a finalist at Miss City Tourism World and earning the title of Miss Guatemala Intercontinental. Her elegance moved beyond the stage and into living rooms across Guatemala when she joined TV Azteca Guatemala. Her charm, warmth, and professionalism quickly made her a household name and a trusted face on the screen. But Raquel's influence went far beyond her work. In early 2024, when she was diagnosed with advanced cervical cancer, she chose to share her journey openly. Through social media, she documented both her pain and perseverance, bringing attention to women's health and inspiring thousands with her courage. She showed immense vulnerability and strength, reminding others that they were not alone. When complications from her illness affected her kidneys, and she awaited a transplant while undergoing treatment, Raquel still smiled, still encouraged others, and still hoped. Even during her toughest moments, she gave strength to others. TV Azteca Guatemala honored her with these words: "Thank you for your dedication, Raquel, for your permanent smile, for lighting up our screens with a talent that will forever echo in our memory." Her loss is deeply felt by friends, fans, and all who followed her extraordinary journey. Raquel's story reminds us to live with purpose, to speak up, and to face life with compassion and courage. She is survived by her loving family, who stood by her side until the very end. Raquel Escalante didn't just walk through life, she lit it with her presence. Tributes to Raquel Escalante. She made joy sound easy. That's how a fellow artist once described Judy Cheeks.